Meet Sketch. Sketch just landed a job paying $100K a year, which in his parents' generation is the equivalent of saying, I'm set for life, but in 2025 is the equivalent of saying, I can almost afford a one-bedroom apartment. His take-home after taxes is about $6,200 a month. His rent is $2,400, and his LinkedIn bio now reads six-figure professional. Sketch's hobbies include telling everyone at brunch he's in the six-figure club, financing a BMW 3 Series he parks at his apartment complex, and reviewing credit cards on Reddit. It's safe to say Sketch has officially made it. So Sketch does what any newly minted six-figure earner would do. He upgrades his apartment, signs up for Equinox, and starts ordering Sweetgreen like it's a personality trait. Forward 3 months, and Sketch's lifestyle has expanded to fill every dollar of his paycheck. His rent? $2,400. His car payment? $620. His student loans? $780. His Equinox membership he uses twice a month? $260. His savings? We don't talk about that. His mom's concern? Why her 28-year-old son is asking to borrow money for a dentist appointment. Fast forward 6 more months, and Sketch is now what economists would call high-income broke. He makes more than 75% of Americans and has less savings than the average 19-year-old lifeguard. His net worth? Negative $47,000. His credit card balance? Higher than his confidence during salary negotiations. This brings us to the question for today's video. Why are six-figure earners broke? There's a concept in personal finance called lifestyle inflation, and it is the silent killer of wealth. It explains why people who earn 60K feel broke, why people who earn 100K feel broke, and why Sketch is currently Googling, is 100K even a lot of money anymore? In 1990, a 100K salary put you in the top 5% of earners. Your parents heard 100K and pictured a country club membership. Today, 100K and you're splitting an appetizer at Chili's, wondering if guac is really worth the upcharge. And the numbers back this up. Adjusted for inflation, $100,000 in 1990 is roughly $240,000 today. So if you're making 100K right now and wondering why it doesn't feel like you've made it, congratulations. In real terms, you're earning the 1990 equivalent of about $42,000. Your dad was buying a house on your salary. You're buying a Cotopaxi fanny pack and calling it an investment in yourself. But it gets worse depending on where you live. 100K in Wichita, Kansas? You're doing great. You've got a 3-bedroom house, a yard, and probably a boat you don't need. 100K in New York City? You're sleeping in a converted closet that your landlord has the audacity to call a studio flex, paying $2,800 a month for the privilege of hearing your neighbor's sleep apnea machine through the wall. In fact, I believe it was Benjamin Franklin who once said, "A penny saved is a penny earned, unless you live in Manhattan, in which case you're bleeped either way." And this is where lifestyle inflation really does its damage. See, when Sketch was making 55K, he ate Chipotle, drove a Honda Civic, and was honestly fine. But the moment that offer letter said 100K, something broke in Sketch's brain. A psychological switch flipped, the "I deserve this" switch. Suddenly, Chipotle became Sweetgreen, the Honda became a BMW. The $12 bottle of wine became a $45 bottle of wine that tastes exactly the same but has a nicer label. Sketch didn't get richer, Sketch got more expensive. And here's the trap. Sketch's spending rose faster than his income did, which means he actually has less financial margin making 100K than he did at 55K. That makes less sense than paying $7 for overnight oats, yet millions of Americans are doing exactly this. Let's get a little more technical real quick. What is real wage growth and why does it matter? Real wage growth measures how much your income has actually increased after accounting for inflation. Here's a real example. Let's say your salary went from 80K to 100K over 3 years. That's a 25% raise. Sounds great. But if inflation over that same period was 20%, your real wage growth is only about 5%. Now factor in that housing costs in major cities have risen 30 to 40% since 2020, and that raise just evaporated. You're running on a treadmill, and the treadmill is winning. So why does this matter? Because when housing, groceries, and insurance are all rising faster than wages, someone like Sketch feels like he's moving up while financially standing completely still. On paper, Sketch is booking a dinner reservation at Nobu. In reality, Sketch is one car repair away from putting groceries on a credit card. Now you might be thinking, okay, so what do I actually do about this? Well, there's 2 ways to handle it. The first, track every dollar, build a budget, live below your means, max out your 401k, and pretend the BMW doesn't exist. But that requires discipline, and discipline is boring, and you didn't grind for a six-figure salary just to clip coupons like your Aunt Linda. So that brings us to our second option. Keep spending like you make 200k, save absolutely nothing, and then blame everyone else when you're 45 with no retirement fund. You can blame the economy, you can blame student loans, you can blame the price of eggs. But you gotta blame someone, because admitting you financed a lifestyle you can't afford isn't really the vibe. And this is the core of the 100k lie. In your parents' economy, 100k made you wealthy. In today's economy, 100k makes you comfortable enough to look rich while building absolutely zero wealth. On Instagram, Sketch is living his best life. On Mint, sorry, they shut that down. On his bank app, Sketch is one unexpected medical bill away from financial ruin. So next time someone tells you they just cracked six figures, just remember, earning 100k doesn't make you rich. It makes you the highest paid person in the room who still can't afford a house.